Hey everybody, Kale here with my second battle report. This will be my Demon Legions against a Dread Elves opponent and 4,500 points once again in OFCC prep. So I'm going to get into my army list here. As it turns out, my last army list was illegal. I did not make it on Army Builder, and I didn't realize it was illegal until I had put it on there and it was like, hey, you're doing stuff wrong. And I was like, well, shit. So for characters, I've got my Demon Prince with Ironhide, the Mortal Blade. Double wounds for everyone that goes through to monsters and ridden monsters. Fly, he's still an apprentice and he's got 4 learned spells. I've got a Harbinger of Pestilence on a Palanquin with the Veil of Shadows, so the unit he's in has hard cover, so a -2 modifier to shoot at, and then Magic Resistance 1. And he has a Supreme Aspect, so the unit that he's in has a 4-up regen instead of a 5-up. For core, I've got a unit of 15 horrors, and then I've got a unit of 10 horrors as well. And then I have a unit of 23 tallymen with full command and contamination. For Demons of Wrath, I have Hellhounds with ambush. For Demons of Pestilence, I have Pestilent Beasts, got 3 of those, and I have 4 Blightflies with a champion. And last but not least, I have a Demon Engine with Hellish Bombardment, and he's obviously has the Pestilence mark. So this is what the board looks like terrain-wise. I just decided to drop my entire army first so I could go first. I didn't really care where he put stuff. I was like, whatever, you're going to come at me, you have Dread Elves, this is going to hurt. So on the far left here, I've got my Demon Engine with the Hellish Bombardment. He's got a super far range with that catapult, so I was like, whatever. I decided to stick him over here. The hill will kind of save me from whatever's on that side shooting-wise because he does have 2 bolt throwers, and then you can't charge through that impassable terrain right in front of him. So I don't really want him in combat, but I'm sure he'd be fine. I got the Demon Prince back there hiding from the bolt throwers because that hurts. I've got my 4 Blightflies. Since they can fly, I figure I'll just fly on top and then do whatever I want with them. In the middle / right over here, I've got my 23 Tally Mend. Ha, mistype. With my BSB on Palanquin. I've got my 3 Pestilent Beasts, my 10 Horrors, and my 15 Horrors. On his right, he has 5 Dark Raiders, Kraken, 10 Dread Knights, 30 Executioners, the Altar, and 30 Corsairs, and his BSB is also in that unit. On his left, he has his 2 Bolt Throwers on a hill, 5 more Dark Raiders, his Prince on a Raptor Chariot with the Midnight Cloak of Super Death, and then the 5 Dark Raiders. And that's it for him. So we go to Vanguard. He Vanguards his fast cav up like this, which is totally okay. And Vanguards his other fast cav up like this, which is totally okay. Like I said, I dropped everything, so I got first turn. I don't really care to get into combat with him fast. I would like to pick off this fast cav over here and just kind of shuffle around until I get in a position where I feel comfortable charging things. Just move my Blightflies over to the left a little bit there. Back up the Tallyman a little bit because they don't need to be in combat. And I shuffle my Pestilent Beast over to the left a little bit because I don't want his Prince charging those, doing D3 wounds, and just murdering that unit. It sounds terrible. And he's got a great weapon, so I think he's like Strength 6, attacks at initiative, which is higher than my guys, so bad news bears. Excuse me. And then I move my Demon Prince over there, out of range of the bolt throwers, and also behind that impassable terrain there, so I was okay with that. Demon Legions, turn 1, Magic, I got 5, didn't channel. In Magic, I cast Stupidity on his fast cav up there, and that's really the only thing that went through on his far right flank there. This is shooting, so this is one. I think this is my 15-man horror unit shooting at them. Picks off 3 of them, so they have to take a um, panic test for that. Since I still have shooting and the other ones behind him are kind of still there, probably not going to run on leadership 10, so I just decided to shoot him again. So I just murder-lated a unit of fast cav, which isn't really super exciting, but still it's one less thing I have to deal with. So Dread Elves turn 1. So like I said, I made them stupid. They failed their stupidity test, decided to run into the forest, and I think they shuffled forward like 2-3 inches or something like that. Took 1 dangerous rain, didn't take any wounds on that. Kraken, Dread Knights, Executioners, everything moves up. I mean, he's not afraid of me, obviously. I'm afraid of him. I mean, the Executioners, I found out later, do multiple wounds too to infantry and like war beasts, so that's terrible. Yeah, so I don't really want to be too close. And like I said, everything just kind of moves up, and then he moves the chariot up like that. And the fast cav also around there. He doesn't have any magic, so he shoots and he gets 1 wound through on one of the pestilent beasts, which is okay. And that's pretty much the end of his turn. So Demon Legion's turn 2. I back up and shuffle around a little bit, kind of stay as far away as possible until I can get the charges that I want. The horrors are probably going to get myrtleated. I didn't really think about that because that dude's going to charge in, impact hits, 2 raptors, him, the other guy. It's going to hurt. Plus the fast cav, so yeah. On the left here, I just back my tallyman up. I leave the blight flies and everybody else kind of where they're at. I roll a 9 for magic, and I didn't get a channel on that one. I don't believe I got any spells off this time. I think I might have gotten... I tried to cast 2d6 random movement on the Kraken, and he dispelled that one with like his 5 dice that he had, and then the other 4... I had thought I got stupidity off on the fast cav again, but I believe I failed rolling on that. And I also tried to split it so I could get some magic hits off on these guys, which failed because they didn't throw enough dice at it. So this is shooting. I shot my horrors at this unit again and did 3 wounds. They passed their panic, unfortunately. And I misfired with this guy. Can't shoot this turn, but he's fine next turn. So kind of sucks. I mean, I would like to be hurting some stuff with that catapult, you know, but haven't really had too many chances to see it in action yet. And Dread Elf's turn 2. So this guy decides to charge both of these units into my horrors, which I was pretty sure was going to happen anyway. Like I said, bad placement on my part. But at the same time, I don't really want him charging my Pestilent Beasts because he does D3 wounds. He's got like 4 attacks at strength 6 with D3 wounds each. So it would pretty much just myrtlate that unit, and that would suck. And he gets him with both. I stand and shoot at the fast cav, and I don't do any wounds. So wouldn't have really helped that much. Would have been cool to kill 1 and 2 out of 10 shots. You know, would have been cool. But I got both, and that's okay. And he's like really close now. Just shuffling up something fierce over here, and I'm scared of the Executioners, and I think I was more scared of this big brick than I really should have been. On the right here with the altar, and he took the clan or whatever it's called of the hatred. So re-rolling, I think. Failed rolls to hit. And he's dipping out with his fast cav up there because my Demon Prince is up there and he doesn't want anything with that. He's coming in with his Kraken over there on the left behind the hill, so I can't shoot at him to go after my Demon Agent, because he does D3 wounds as well for every wound that gets through. So the board pretty much looks like that. That's how close they are. They're in combat on the right there. Just a better, closer up view here. And then another picture to the left. And he shoots again with his repeater bolt throwers and sinks one more wound through. So one guy's got one wound left. So altogether the odds are actually pretty good that one of them hasn't died yet. I was pretty excited about that. After combat, so between impact hits, which is a possible, I think he rolled like a 2, the 4 attacks from his lord, the 1 attack from his guy, and I think the 2 or 4 attacks from his raptors, along with the 2 attacks from the horses and the 2 attacks on the guys. What is that? 2, 6, 10, 11, 15 attacks. He kills 7 guys with rerolling to hit, and also most of those are strength 4 and I'm toughness 3, so I'm just rolling ward saves out of the box here. I actually hold, I don't pop. I think I might lose 1 guy possibly from the demonic instability, or otherworldly, I guess. So this is my turn 3. I'm like, alright, well, you guys are like right in front of me, so this is gonna hurt. I could either charge that big brick there and hope to do something to it or get destroyed, or I could charge this prince in the flank with 12 strength 4 attacks, poisoning on 6s. I figured out something in there. I mean, he's got like a 2-up, 5-up or something like that, so it's possible I could sink wounds through. But what I'm thinking is I'm going to have a charge of flank, so I'm going to start with 2 combat res. And if it goes as well as it did last turn, I should be able to do something. And so the tallyman, I'm sitting there staring down the face of these executioners going, this is going to suck. And I was like, well, how far is it to these dread knights, right? I could probably break them. I'm charging 1. I've got 3 ranks, so that's 4. I've got 2 banners, so that's 6. I start with 6 combat res. They have a shit ton of attacks. I think they got like 15 attacks or something coming out of that unit. Maybe 20, but I'm pretty sure it's at least 15. And I was like, well, I need a 9. So if I don't roll a 9, I'm pretty much effed. I'm going to be stuck in front of these executioners. I'm going to get charged by them anyway. So I could stay there, get charged by the executioners, or I could charge, fail, get charged by the executioners, or I could charge and make it, and they won't be able to wheel. And I box card it, so now I'm in. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm going, you know what, I got 6 combat res. If he doesn't do too many wounds, I got a 4-up regen, I'm toughness 4. So he's like hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, and then I have a 4-up regen. So I think out of 15 attacks, he should hit with, let's say, 9 or 10. Should only wound with 5, and I should save 2 to 3 of those. So we'll see how that goes. And like a dick, to be honest, I conga lined this guy right here. So A, he can't close the wheel or close the gap, and B, he can't charge my pestilent beasts in the back. So I was like, okay, this could work. Don't die, guys, because that would suck. Another picture of that there. And this side, so I fly my Demon Prince over there. Make sure I'm out of the wheel of the Kraken. I can't move my Demon Engine enough to get out of his wheel, so I was like, well, you're probably going to die. And then I also wanted to make sure my Blight Flies were out of his charge arc, but I didn't want to put him up on top of the hill because everything could see him, including the bolt throwers. If for some reason the executioners get over there and I'm not able to get out fast enough, I don't want to be charged by them. So that's why I did that. All right, so after combat, no, I've got 23 guys in this unit, right? So as of right now, I've got 21, 22 left. Where are we at here? So we got 4, 8, 22. Yeah, I've got 22 guys left in that unit. So I lost one guy and I did 2 wounds to him. So he's got a banner. I end up winning by 7, right? Or 6. Well, he's leadership 9. So I was like, dude, this is going to be sweet. He's close enough to his BSB, so he's going to get a rerollable 3, which I'm totally okay with. That's terrible odds. Yeah, he makes it. Yep. First roll, he rolls a 2 and a 1, and I was like, son of a bitch. That just messed up my entire plan. I was going to charge this unit. I was going to break it. I was going to overrun. I was going to hopefully run it down. Executioners don't care. The fast cavs within 6 inches, so they're going to have to take a test, which is also going to be rerollable. Kraken probably doesn't care, but that would be a huge unit out of the way, and I would be out of the way of the executioners. I could reform, turn around, face the executioners, or just turn around and face the Kraken, you know. But that was my plan. I was going to beat him, which I did. Run him down, which did not happen because they didn't break. And that was going to be the end of that unit and hopefully allow me to open up this whole side here. So plan B, conga line, he charges. As you can see the combat up there on my turn, he did 3 wounds. I did nothing to him, so I had a charge of flank. He destroyed the other unit, and I rolled pretty well on my demonic instability. So I still got 2 guys left, one of which has 1 wound. So I'm still holding him there. It's not really bad, but it did not go as good as I hoped. And of course the Kraken gets in here. And this is a late Dread Elf picture of what turn it is. So, and this is kind of what this side looks like. He's got his fast cav there. He's kind of just setting there. He doesn't want to get him into combat because he doesn't want to lose the points. But he ends up not moving him. At about turn 4 or 5, he's like, "Can you just grab them and like put them in the corner because they'd be there by now and nothing's happened to them. You haven't shot at them, and I want them as far away as possible." And I was like, "Yeah, they have like 18-inch movement, so they're gone." And this is just a better picture of how all this is turning out over here. So after they charged in, the executioners decided to turn to face my Tallyman, which is exactly what I was trying to avoid. Totally not how that worked out at all. So plan B, which if yet there isn't a plan B. I have no plan B. That was a long bomb charge in hopes that it was going to happen. Plan did not follow through. Better picture over here of the left flank here. And with me and my infinite wisdom, I was not paying attention to how close I was to the bolt throwers, which I had done super good the first 2 turns. I was like literally 43 inches away, and their range is like 48, so I was like, crap. Bye, Demon Prince, but luckily he only ended up doing 2 wounds, so that was super cool. I mean, he's half dead now, but you know, he's not dead. Dark Rider's just kind of back all the way up over here next to the bolt throwers, and those 2 raptor guys, the guys that I killed last round. And over here, dude, the Demon Agent survives. He actually puts 2 wounds on him, and then I take 5 wounds in return. So I'm within the 18-inch range, so I'm going off leadership 9. I lose by like, I think 3 in a charge, so I lose by 4. I rolled like a 4 or 3 and didn't take any wounds, so I was pretty excited about that. And this combat over here, this is kind of the start. That block of 4 there that's knocked over, that was really 2, because that was all that was left in the unit there. So they're conga lined out here. kind of the combat, how it's going. I killed one guy, and then this happened. Yep, all the bad things. I was really hoping that I was going to at least have one guy there. Sure, he'd have a charge and possibly insta-pop me, but I was really hoping to just maybe pass that. Hold them there for another turn so they couldn't move, and I could at least have another turn of not worrying about that unit. Didn't happen, which is okay. We'll have to adjust to that. And that's the poor pestilent beast take a dirt nap. Yep, didn't quite make it. So they get destroyed. I'm pretty sure I rolled boxcars on their thing. I rolled like a 9 initially, which would have popped me, and I was like, well, might as well re-roll everything 12. Rolled again and rolled boxcars, and I was like, all right, well, bye guys, see you later. And Demon Legion turns forward. I make a semi-long bomb charge into this unit. I'm like, okay, well, I got a charge. I've got a banner. So I'm starting with 2. He's got 3 ranks and 2 banners. So I'm losing by 3. But the way I look at it is I've got 8, 9 attacks coming in here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 17 attacks. I've got 17 attacks coming in. Sure, he's going to get some attacks back. I've got a 6 up, 5 up. Shouldn't take too many wounds because he's only got 4 guys attacking from the Corsairs, and then everybody on the altar. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm hoping that this is going to work out. Even if I don't win, I can still hold him there. Hopefully, pass an instability test. So we'll see how that goes. At this point, I've killed 3 more guys in that Dread Knight Raptor unit there, and he's killed 4 more of mine. He's lost every combat up until this point. Continually passes his checks there, so it's pretty much a stalemate right now. I decided to take my Demon Prince into the side of the Kraken, which is pretty much his job, is just kill monsters, the Mortal Blade, so every wound that gets through does 2. And with me and just my super amount of attention that I pay, this is Demon Legion's turn 4. Well, I had looked over at this point and I was like, crap, I have dogs. Why have I forgotten you for 3 turns? Oh my gosh. He's like, you can put them on. That's fine. I don't even care. Yeah. Because, I mean, at this point, I'm pretty much effed. On like, retrospect, if I had remembered that I had dogs, probably could have got them on turn 2 or 3. Charged this turn. If they came on turn 2, my Demon Prince would still not be at half health, which would have been cool if I paid attention. But apparently I wasn't. Just a little bit better of an overview here. I get an 8 on the magic. I turn around and I cast. Oh, well, the Kraken died. Yep, Kraken's totally dead there. I ended up doing 10 wounds to him. I think all five attacks got through and wounded between poisons and everything, and I ended up doing 10 total wounds to him. So he was taking a little Kraken dirt nap there. I didn't kill any. He killed, I think, 3 more. I've got 2 ranks, 2 banners. He has a banner. He killed 3. I got 2 ranks, 2 banners. He's got a banner. I think it was a stalemate, or it was a stalemate on this one. So that was kind of nice, I guess. So at this point, this was a stalemate. I've killed the Kraken. I was like, cool, don't have to worry about my Demon Engine dying anymore. Let's go on to the Blightflies combat down there. Let's do this. Alright, well, that happened. So, as it turns out, I killed like 1 guy. I rolled like boxcars on this unit, and I just popped something fierce. I flubbed super bad. Yeah. Flubbed super bad. I should have done more than 1 wound for sure. Out of 17 attacks, I probably should have gotten 3 or 4 or 6. I mean, with poison and everything. So I flubbed just really bad. He won combat by a significant amount. I rolled and I popped. So that did not go as planned either, but that's okay. Plan D. In my movement phase, can't charge with him, so in my movement phase, I just walked him up there, and they're going to turn around and shoot me to death. Executioners charged me in the flank, which is, as to be expected. I'm totally okay with that. I only get 3 attacks against him. He gets, like, I don't know, 12 against me or something. It's going to hurt. So they're just turning around to shoot at me. Those Dark Raiders are just hanging out, staying out of combat. And I don't really have any shooting anymore other than my Hellish Bombardment, which seems to be doing terrible this game. I haven't hit anything at all. It's misfired and missed. Something fierce. So that's what this side looks like over here. I've got my half-dead 2 monsters over here. Taking quite a bit of damage, just kind of trying to keep him out of the fight here. And then he shoots and ends up only doing 1 wound, so I was pretty excited about that. And we go to combat. So he does 3, 6, 10 wounds to me. I roll super good on my 4-up regens here, and I only take 3 wounds, so that was super solid, super solid. So he's got a charge, a flank, so that's 2, 1 banner. I don't think he's got a banner on his executioners, so that's 3 starting with 2 ranks, so that's 5. I've got 1 rank, 2 banners, 1 4 wounds, I think. I win this combat, and he sticks with both, so it's a little rough. Like, I'm winning combats, he's just really good at rolling low when it comes to break tests, so tell you what though, it does not work in my advantage. And Demon Legion's turn 5. So I've had about enough of this whole deal going on over here. These Raptor Knights need to die. So I charge him with my Demon Prince. At this point, I believe he's challenged my BSB to... Oh, well, he's challenged before with my BSB. He killed my champion in that unit, so that's done. And then he challenges again, I believe, either last turn or this turn, and I have to accept with my BSB, otherwise I get nothing from him. So along with charges, I angle as such so I can overrun into the other bolt thrower. Hopefully get a little bit of extra points here. Okay, well, the end of combat, I do like the opposite of what I did last turn. Instead of making 7 out of 11 or 10, I failed 7 out of 10 or 11. So I take like 7 or 8 wounds on that one. I'm fine. I'm not steadfast. I don't pop, luckily. So Dread Elf's turn 5. At the end of combat last time, he ranked up like that just for more ranks. Kind of scooches everything forward over here. I put random movement on his Corsair unit last turn, and I have reduced the movement on his Chariot by 2 to this point with my Witchcraft attribute. So I cast random spells on him, like the one that... like when he shoots, it's half range, and his Chariot doesn't even shoot. I just cast it to lower his movement, hoping that he won't get into combat. So, we wipe out the Raptors, and I'm sitting here going, I don't really want to get my Demon Prince into those guys. I've got 2 wounds on my BSB at this point. He's only got, I think, 2 wounds left, and I've got 3 guys left in the unit. So it's looking pretty bad. Just another picture, a little bit of movement there. Demon Legions turn 6. So my BSB dies at the end of that turn, because I had shuffled him over and I forgot that they do double wounds to infantry, and I'm infantry, so they snuck a wound through. So the BSB's dead. I still got 3 guys in that unit, and that's about it. I haven't turned my Tallyman unit because all that's going to do is allow him to get more attacks, because right now he only gets, I think, 6 attacks instead of, my 75 millimeters wide compared to his 80 or 100. So instead of 10 attacks, he only gets 6, which in a sense works out in my benefit. At this point, I was like, whatever, the game's almost over, so I charged my Demon Prince in. We end up doing, like, I think 6 wounds to that unit. We might have actually won that combat, and they stuck, because I did 6 wounds, charge, and whatnot. He's still got a flank, and two ranks. I have a banner, and he did 2 wounds, so I think he lost by like 3 or 2 and stuck. So Dread Elves turn 6. All the bad things happen. He rear charges my Tallyman with his prince, so that's all bad. I was hoping to save that unit and at least keep points for him a little bit, which would have been nice. And the end of combat looks like that. We end up killing 4 of them. He ends up sinking the last 2 wounds on my Demon Prince, and then destroys the rest of that unit, my Tallyman unit. So, end of game. That side looks like this. That side kind of looks like that. He moves his last turn on his turn 6. He moved his fast cav over there, so they'd be out of my charge arc, which I don't even care because my dogs are so far out of the game. That was really the only thing that they're designed to do is a backup if I remember them on turn 2, which would be ideal, but I forgot about them for 2 turns, so the only thing I had him do was clean up bolt throwers, which is okay, save me some shooting. And then it's kind of his left flank there, and then this is the end of the game full board view. So altogether it was like a 13-7, 13 for him, 7 for me, because I still have 1,000 points on the table. He's still got like, I think 2 or 2,500, so it might be a it's either a 13 or a 14-6, something like that. MVP, I'm gonna have to say, is the Tallyman with the BSB in them. They held up so good to 2 units that are super combat-y and killy. I mean, they were in combat for 3 or 4 turns. Pretty much 6 or 8 rounds of combat. They were in combat and just sticking it out. So I'm going to go with that unit as being my MVP. Ideally, my plan should have worked. I mean, even my opponent was like, well, you should have broke that unit. I needed a 3, and I rolled it first time, and that was just pure luck. It's a dice game that happens. But he's like, if that unit would have broke, the game would have been changed significantly in that aspect. And I was like, yeah, I agree. And he's like, and you forgot about the dogs. If they would have came on turn 2, I agree. Your Demon Prince wouldn't be missing 2 wounds, wouldn't have died that last round of combat. And they could have actually charged the flank or the rear of something at that point, which would have been 10 strength 5 attacks at weapon skill 5. So it would have been a little different if I remember the dogs, if it wasn't a dice game, I guess, in a sense. But things happen. He rolled a 3 and that was totally okay, and the game turned out how it turned out, and I learned a lot. It's my second game. I don't think I did too much wrong. Maybe the positioning on the far right there of my horrors, which pretty much gave him 2 units. Pestilence Beast was kind of bad luck. I figured they'd do more. They didn't. That's okay. I'm still kind of iffy on the Hellish Bombardment. If I I'm usually hitting on 4s, which isn't that bad. I should hit it half the time, right? Um, I did, however, on turn 5, I forgot I hit the Corsair unit with the altar. He made his ward save on the altar, which is okay. I got 16 hits on the Corsairs, and I did 1 wound. So that was pretty unsatisfactory. All in all, it was a really fun game, really cool opponent. I learned a lot. And he did say that he went to a tournament last year with the same list. And even out of that whole tournament, all 5 games, I did more damage to this list than anybody else there. So that was pretty cool. Definitely a fun game, cool opponent. Glad to meet him, and I will see you guys for the next game. Have a good one.